There is so much confusion about sugar. People are afraid of fruits, people think sugar is bad regardless of how you actually eat it. But what kind of sugar are we talking about? Because there are three main types of sugar and they each affect us differently. And even more differently depending on what you're eating with it. By the end of this video, you'll have a good understanding of how each type of sugar affects your body and our recommendation for how much sugar to have in a day.
Welcome to the next episode of Flat Stomach, Scam versus the Real Way to Lose Belly Fat series. If you want to know when the next episode drops, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon. Hi Viva fam, this is Richa from CoachViva.com. Let's go.
Not all sugars are the same. There are three kinds of sugars and they each get absorbed differently by our bodies. Glucose is a simple sugar that gets quickly absorbed by your body, making it your body's preferred source of energy. Pure glucose without other nutrients around like protein to help balance it quickly spikes up your blood sugar levels, leading to a flood of insulin by your body to control your blood sugar levels. This causes a sugar high followed by a crash from the insulin flood, which results in a hunger cycle. The second kind is called fructose. This also gets absorbed directly into your bloodstream like glucose, but it raises your blood sugar levels more slowly. Your liver converts fructose to glucose. And if you eat more fructose than your liver can handle, it'll get converted into fat. If the burden on your liver from processing excess fructose is really high, it can lead to a series of metabolic problems like insulin resistance. This is when your ability to process sugar goes awry, and as a result, you easily store more fat instead. Some studies show that a person with insulin resistance is 30% more likely to store fat than people without insulin resistance. Other metabolic problems include fatty liver and metabolic syndrome, which is a combination of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, and excess body fat around the waist, often leading to other things like strokes, heart attacks, and diabetes type 2. Another effect of too much fructose consumption is that it can increase your levels of ghrelin, which is a hunger hormone that makes you feel less full. And finally, other studies show that since fructose is also processed in your liver like alcohol, it can also be similarly addictive as it triggers the reward pathway in your brain. The third type of sugar is sucrose. This is the common table sugar that you find in your food. It is made up of both glucose and fructose. Your body needs to break down the sucrose into one of those two components and then absorbs it. Now, the presence of glucose increases the amount of fructose absorbed into your bloodstream, which leads to more fat storage, metabolic problems, hunger hormone increase, and the sugar addiction problem I mentioned before. Thus, eating glucose and fructose separately may be better than eating them together. Of course, eating both is something that you automatically do whenever you add table sugar to your meals, since table sugar is composed of both.
Now, everything that Lucy just said is what happens to you when you have pure sugar without eating it with anything else. The problem isn't with sugar itself. That's found naturally in most foods out there. And your liver can process small amounts of fructose with no problems whatsoever. The problem is, one, when you consume lots of sugar all at once, and number two, you don't balance it with other kinds of nutrients. Guess what kinds of foods have a lot of sugar without any other kinds of nutrients? You guessed it, juices, sodas, junk foods, and sweets. Now here's a chart comparing whole foods to popular processed food. As you can see, one apple has 19 grams of sugar and 4 grams of fiber, and it's the fiber that slows down the release of sugar to your bloodstream, and the apple also has many other nutrients like vitamins, magnesium, etc., which all together make you feel full longer. Compare this to a 16-ounce can of Coke that has 52 grams of sugar and 0 nutrients to keep you satiated for long. And then there's the Starbucks cookie, which is 31 grams of sugar and again, not many nutrients to keep you full for long. Now you might look at the sugar numbers and think, that's not too bad, but let me ask you, how many apples can you eat before you're full? Now, how many cans of Coke can you drink before you're full? Vastly different, right? Add to that the fact that the other nutrients in whole foods actually counteract a lot of the negative effects that Lucy listed for sucrose, fructose, and glucose.
So here's our recommendation. If you can get by with having 0 added sugar a day, go for it. Since most of us can't though, the American Heart Association recommends at most 100 calories of added sugars for women, and that's about 6 teaspoons, and at most 150 calories of added sugar for men, which is about 9 teaspoons. Now, this isn't very easy to track, since nutrition trackers don't really distinguish between added sugars and natural sugars found in other food sources. So I don't necessarily recommend meticulously tracking your sugar levels on tracking apps. The best way I have found to reduce your added sugar consumption is to look at your food quality balance. Aim for one or less sweet thing a day. And by sweet thing, I mean foods with a lot of added sugars to it, like processed desserts, sweet coffee, drinks and sodas, juices, etc. Now, I understand that this may be a huge jump from where you're already at. It was for me. So you don't need to aim for that one a day target right now, immediately. Instead, just try eating one less sweet thing than you already do and do it for a month. Then, if you're able to do that consistently, next month, subtract one more sweet thing. And just keep doing that until you're able to get it down to the one or less a day. Okay, one thing that will probably happen is you're going to go through higher sugar cravings while you're doing this. This is your body trying to adjust. So here are some strategies that's helped us and our clients go through this transition. 1. Fruits can be a great sweet substitute. Aim for 3 cupped handfuls of fruits a day, and because a lot of the nutrients in the fruits are actually on the skin, gram for gram, fruits like berries are more nutrient dense than say an orange, unless you eat the peel. Many of our clients also find protein bars like Quest protein bars or One protein bars or Think Thin protein bars to be good substitutes, as they are highly satiating because of the high protein content. You can also try looking into baking with protein powder. There are a lot of recipes out there on baking with protein powder where you can create some of your favorite desserts like cookies, brownies, pancakes, etc. And you can create really highly satiating desserts that are really high in protein but low in added sugars. We created a whole series where we talk about protein powders, including a few recommendations on protein powders made for baking, and link that playlist to you in the description below. And you can also try our tried and tested methods on curbing cravings. Rich and I made a video on this called How to Stop Cravings and Lose Weight, and I'll link that video in the description below as well. And finally, look into changing your relationship with food at the fundamental level. Check out our video on how to control your cravings in the description below.
Hey there! If you want to know when the next episode of Flat Stomach Scam and the real way to lose belly fat drops, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon. Until then, keep crushing it.